Just because something's popular doesn't necessarily mean that it's good. Take the Vauxhall Mokka. It was hugely popular here in the UK. It wasn't actually any good in any areas. In fact, its main appeal came from the big discounts that you could get. The new Mokka, however, could be here to change that. It could be popular and good. But what's changed, and should you buy one? That's what we're going to find out in this review. There's no doubt that this Vauxhall Mokka is very different to the one that it replaced. Not least because you can now buy an electric version. I mean, just look at it. Vauxhalls have had a bit of a redesign of late, and the Mokka was the first car to benefit from it, getting this full-width visor and these sight-like daytime running lights. It's just altogether more modern than the one that it's replaced. It's not just the exterior that's had a glow up either. Everything in here has changed as well. Sitting in the driver's seat, the first thing you notice is this curved fascia in front of you, which is supposed to look like the visor on the front of the car. It houses your digital instrument panel and your infotainment system. In this version, which is the mid-spec GS, you've got a 12-inch instrument panel and a 10-inch infotainment screen, whereas in the entry-level car, you get slightly smaller screens at 7-inch apiece. Either way, whichever ones you go for, you get nice clear displays, which are really, really easy to read. The only problem is the infotainment system, it's a bit clunky and a bit slow as you prod around. The good thing is that every Mokka comes with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as standard, so you can bypass that whole system anyway. But look, best of all, there's actual physical buttons and dials, so you've got shortcuts for the infotainment system, and you've also got lots of buttons for the air conditioning as well. It just makes it generally easier to use than the touch-sensitive ones in the Peugeot 2008. Thing is, for all the visual flair in here, the 2008 and the Audi Q2 are much nicer and feel a lot posher. Everything in here, bar these leather inserts in the door, is plastic. Also, you've got these carbon fibre panels, which in the 2008 are nice and feel really good, whereas in this, they just feel a bit like hollow plastic. These seats are quite comfortable though, and the driving position is pretty good. Like a lot of small SUVs, the Mokka isn't that much taller than a normal hatchback, but the seat puts you nice and high in the car. You've also got plenty of steering wheel and seat adjustment, which makes it really easy to get comfortable. And the only thing that's missing is adjustable lumbar support. In fact, the only way to get that is to go for the top spec Ultimate trim, which strangely enough also gets a massage function, which you don't tend to see in this class. When it comes to practicality, there's more than enough headroom in the front and the rear for a 6-footer. And behind my driving position, I'm about 5'10", there's enough leg room as well. It is worth noting that this tapered roofline does make you feel a bit hemmed in, and a Skoda Kamiq feels just generally larger and more generous, which is something you'll want to bear in mind if you regularly have people in the back of the car. It's much the same story in the boot too. If you go for an entry-level Griffin or a top-spec Ultimate, you get an adjustable boot floor. Strangely, in this mid-spec GS, you don't, which means when you fold the rear seats down, there's a bit of a jump up to the seat back, and there's also quite a large lip, which obviously you'd mostly remove if you had that adjustable floor. Space-wise, it's a little bit underwhelming. You get 350 litres of space in this petrol, and you get 310 in the EV. Basically, a Skoda Kamiq or a Ford Puma will be more generous than this petrol version, while a Kia Niro EV and a Volkswagen ID3 are better than the EV. Speaking of EVs, one of the biggest changes that came with this second generation Mokka is the fact that you can now buy an electric version. You've got two to choose from. One has 134 brake horsepower and the other is the 154 brake horsepower long range, which increases the range from 211 miles to 247. Vauxhall has also added a 134 brake horsepower hybrid engine into the Mokka lineup. It combines the 1.2 litre turbocharged petrol engine with a small electric battery and a 21 kilowatt electric motor. That makes it slightly faster than the petrol versions and more efficient, promising up to 57.6 mpg and cutting CO2 emissions to 109 grams per kilometre. In this review, we're focusing on the petrol version. No matter which one you go for, you get a 1.2 litre turbocharged engine, and you can choose from 99 brake horsepower, 128 horsepower or 134. This particular car has a 128 brake horsepower engine, and it's probably the sweet spot in the range, giving you plenty of power off the line and loads of to get up to motorway speeds. In fact, the 0 to 60 time of 9.2 seconds is only 0.1 seconds slower than the most powerful version, so in reality you're not going to feel the difference. This engine comes with an 8-speed automatic gearbox, where the other two come with a 6-speed manual. The auto in this, it's fine. It's a bit abrupt around town, but otherwise it switches through the gears smoothly enough. Now, the ride. On these long, wavy A roads, it's actually quite comfortable. It stays upright and deals with undulations really nicely. Around town, however, things do take a bit of a turn and it just starts to feel a bit lumpy. That same suspension that keeps it upright over undulations means that you've got a bit of a thud through larger potholes, and it's just not as comfortable as a Skoda Kamiq or a Volkswagen T-Roc. What's more, if you're after a sporty small SUV, the Ford Puma is much better. There's not as much lean through corners and it doesn't feel as top heavy when you quickly change direction. I will say though, the steering in this does feel much better weighted than in the Peugeot 2008. When it comes to refinement, the Mokka is generally a nice thing to drive around in. There is a bit of suspension noise around town, as I've mentioned, but wind noise is well contained, even at motorway speeds, so you could do long journeys in this and it won't bother you at all. What else do you need to know about the Mokka? Well, in entry-level Griffin trim, it looks like pretty good value with its cash price undercutting all of its rivals. Thing is, as you step up the trim levels, you step up the cost quite quickly, and it begins to look very expensive next to those exact same rivals. For that reason, we would stick with the entry-level Griffin. True, it misses out on the larger infotainment system, but you still get plenty of other kit, including heated front seats, a rear view camera, rear parking sensors, and LED headlights, among a few other niceties. Sounds like great value, doesn't it? Well, it's worth noting that Vauxhall doesn't have the best track record when it comes to reliability. In fact, in the 2023 What Car Reliability Survey, Vauxhall placed 30th out of 32 car makers. That's below all of its rivals. What's more, the standard warranty isn't anything to write home about either. It gives you 3 years cover or 60,000 miles, which is pretty standard for the class. When it comes to safety, the Mokka was tested by Euro NCAP back in 2021, where it scored 4 out of 5 stars. Now, it's hard to compare the Mokka directly with its rivals because they were tested in different years under different testing regimes. But it is worth noting that the Kia Niro scored higher in almost every area despite being tested in 2022 under stricter conditions. At least the Mokka comes with plenty of standard safety kit. That includes all-important automatic emergency braking and lane assist, and if you go for top ultimate trim, you can add blind spot monitoring. So, if you liked the old Mokka, you're going to love this new one because it's far better in every area. Thing is, there is no denying that there are better all-rounders in the small SUV class, notably the Skoda Kamiq and the Ford Puma. Still, this Mokka has plenty of appeal, especially because the entry-level version undercuts its rivals and it has plenty of standard equipment. Thank you for watching this review. If you'd like to know more about the Mokka or any other new or used cars, make sure to head to whatcar.com, just over here. Also, make sure to subscribe for more new car reviews and let us know what you think of the Mokka in the comments below.